there he is.
On mullet.
Got him on.
What do you got there? Snook?
I don't know.
Nice.
Something right in that, right in those mullet, huh?
Good time going out with Mason Baker. You know, it's always nice, I think, to see the next generation coming up. And Mason's a really particularly good one because he's second generation. His dad, Dwayne Baker, is a fantastic bonefish guide, and he certainly is an interested, excited young man that is definitely doing a lot of exploring around here.
Oh, there is another one.
Oh, there's more in there, Rich.
Okay. Oh! Yeah! Come on, come on. Oh! He ate it. He ate it. He ate it. Nice, baby. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I thought you said you had to...
Got him, relax.
Oh! Dude, he just ripped my boat off. Oh! Awesome. Look at that big boy. Woo!
The Hawks Cay Saltwater Experience, presented by Yellowfin, with Captain Tom Rowland and Captain Rich Tudor.
So I think we're gonna work our way around the backside of this island, see if there's any small tarpon up under the mangroves, or hopefully out a little bit.
All right.
Might see some snook.
We've got
We'll have the shrimp ready for the tarpon, and
those guys right here.
maybe have a jerk bait on just in case the snook are a little pickier.
Okay.
You say a little pickier with a jerk bait.
They
They like the jerk bait better. I'd just
think
go
so.
with a jerk bait right now. I like the jerk bait better myself.
The snook do. The tarpon, I think the tarpon prefer the shrimp. But
I'll try a jerk bait.
sometimes these tarpon have an attitude. Sometimes they don't.
Well, you know how it is. Whatever you're confident with.
Is there one that's straighter in there, not bent?
I'm good with this.
Tom likes a curly tail.
They're gonna bite it so fast they're not gonna notice. Mason's gonna put us on the meat right away.
Good time going out with Mason Baker. You know, it's always nice, I think, to see the next generation coming up. And Mason's a really particularly good one because he's second generation. His dad, Dwayne Baker, is a fantastic bonefish guide, guy that I fished with a long time ago. Fished with him down in the lower keys, and he showed us some of the ways that they found bonefish, you know, up this way. Learned a lot of lessons that helped me to find bonefish for the rest of my career. And it's cool to see his son moving into the guiding world, and he certainly is an interested, excited young man that is definitely doing a lot of exploring around here.
Yeah, Mason was great. His dad was always, not that he wasn't good at other things, but that was definitely the reputation as, you know, one of the absolute best at bone fishing, especially up in Islamorada and Key Largo. He's always on them, always catching them. And, you know, I've heard great stories about Mason here recently. Some of our friends that I know are fishing with him and just having great times, and it was an honor to go out and fish with him. So we'll keep this one ready for the shrimp. Throw that one over on the other side of you, and you can work these jerk baits. Wow, look at that sunrise, man.
That's the best part of the day right there.
Yes, sir, it is. My favorite part, for sure. I'm a morning guy. Rich is a night owl.
So maybe just blind cast our way in with the snook?
Yeah, the hole, I think the hole's on this point here.
Okay.
Get a little bit closer.
And then you're gonna look for the tarpon. We'll probably see him rolling.
Yeah, swimming and rolling. The sun gets a little higher, hopefully see in the water a little bit better.
He had a good plan, so we left early, right out of Islamorada. Kind of an interesting morning because the wind was blowing just a little bit, but certainly on the backside of this key, we were all expecting it to be slick, calm, standard tarpon fishing kind of situation. Slick, calm, fish rolling everywhere. So we kind of approach more of the windy side, and he's planning on making a conservative approach and going around this island. And we're not even anywhere near the tarpon fishing area yet. And he's like, well, we might be able to catch a snook. So he suggested that we throw some jerk baits towards the mangroves, and that's exactly how we got the morning started.
Oh, there he is.
On mullet.
Got him on.
What do you got there? Snook?
I don't know.
Nice.
Something right in that, right in those mullet, huh?
Snook.
Snook. Snookaroo.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Look at that
was
light
cool.
on him, man.
That was cool.
Morning light. He was right in those mullet.
He was sitting right on that point with that current flowing around that point.
But as soon as you came through those mullet, though, he ate it.
Yeah.
He was waiting.
Look at that. His back's out of the water. That is cool, Mason.
Mason said he's going to put us on the meat right away.
Look at that. Look at
Doing
this.
my best.
I'd fished that spot before and kind of knew where the fish were on that backside, but he approached it totally different than I've ever even been in there. And had the foresight to say, hey, listen, let's fish our way in, thinking we might catch a snook or something like that. And sure enough, man, we're coming around there and just, kind of casting the points. And, I saw little baits, splash there. Thought something might have been chasing them, throw over there, and wham, here comes this nice snook.
Good thing to do, line cast on the way in.
Yeah, I like that. Well, that's the thing. There's just been so many snook around.
Jeez, you got some shoulders.
Yeah.
How about that, Mason?
Got that guy right away in the morning, and you've been saying, this is one of the best years you've ever seen for snook everywhere. Here at the bridges right at Hawks Cay, all the way up into the Everglades, everywhere. The snook have been pretty much everywhere that there should be a snook, there is a snook this year.
Oh yeah, how about that?
Buddy.
Nice first fish.
First one of the
Solid
day.
snook. How about that? Man, he messed up your leader good.
Yeah, I was playing light on him, too.
Nice work.
Yeah, that was cool, man.
How about
Thank
that?
you. Right where he said he'd be.
Didn't get any prettier than that. First light.
Can't resist a white jerkbait.
That's a good thing. Hold him up for a second.
Oh yeah. Big head. Thanks,
Right.
buddy.
Let's see what else is here.
Yeah.
All right, first fish.
How about that?
First fish.
Have to retie that one.
Might want to retie on that one.
To get more information and purchase the gear that we're using on the show, scan the QR code.
The Hawks Cay Saltwater Experience, presented by Yellowfin, is brought to you by Hawks Cay. Find what lures you. Lowrance. See more, catch more. Waypoint, the destination for outdoor entertainment. Mercury Marine. Go boldly. St. Croix Rods, the best rods on earth. And by Ameritrail Trailers. Daiwa. Power Pole, Reflex Boat Decking, and Costa.
Once you landed that snook, man, I mean, we had gotten the day off to a great start, and we were doing awesome. It was just such a nice day to get out there. And then the anticipation was, we're going to round this corner, and we're going to see all the tarpon rolling. And I've got the binoculars out, and I'm looking. I'm like, man, just haven't seen one roll yet, And typically, that's kind of the way that we'll approach one of these spots. Is you go to a spot where you believe that they are. You're going to watch with the binoculars from a long way away, or just with your eyes, and you'll start to see them roll. And that's kind of how we've always kind of determined where they are. But this day, we weren't seeing anything. No tarpon. And I was expecting, well, we'll probably just round this corner, look for a second, and then move. But you and I had the jerk baits on, and we just kept casting. And I was able to skip it up under the bushes a little bit, and I get a bite. I have it didn't even seem like a tarpon, right? Because it wasn't like a surface bite or anything like that. It was just kind of, I felt the bite, there's a swirl, and then sure enough, man, tarpon jumps out of the water.
Oh, yeah. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Little tarpon?
Tarpon on.
Tarpon on.
Sweet. You got any friends? I don't see any with you.
Nice job.
Oh, that's so awesome.
That is sweet.
First thing in the morning, beautiful light.
Wow, I didn't even see him roll or anything. Wow.
He didn't.
No signs. That's
That
why
was
you keep casting.
that was blind.
Blind squirrel gets an acorn every now and then, huh? It's a good thing we kept casting. If we hadn't had those jerk baits on, hadn't just been fishing our way in, I don't know that we'd have caught a fish.
I don't think we would have. Literally, we're not seeing anything. And a lot of times when I would get the bite, I would think it was going to be a snook because we saw nothing. That's typically what happens when you get a snook. You're just casting into a place that looks good, and then you get a bite, and then a fish, the snook will jump out of the water a little bit. I kept expecting that I was going to get a snook, but tarpon.
You ain't giving up.
No, sir. But he's ready for you now.
And the sun's barely up. We've got a snook and a tarpon.
It's a good way to start the day. Just like you said, he's not giving up, Mason.
The very end. How about that?
God, look at that, how pretty that is.
Hard to beat juvenile tarpon.
I know.
Lots of jumps, lots of sick bites, and they're so pretty.
He'll grow up to be a big one day.
That's right.
Right now, that thing looks perfect. Looks like it's never been touched. All right,
awesome.
let's let him go nice and easy. Thank you, Mason. Thanks.
Nice work.
Appreciate it, man. It's fun.
All right, let's do it again.
I believe we're getting into the meat right here.
You know, for the most part, we like to sight fish, you know, and often we, you know, think that the optimal way to catch these fish is to wait until we see them, make the perfect cast in front of them, present it properly, and catch them. But not this day. I mean, it was, you know, whether the water had cooled down a little bit and they didn't have to roll as much, or there was something different this day that was causing those tarpon not to roll, because we were there first thing in the morning. It wasn't like we were there late in the day or anything. They just were not rolling.
Something, I mean, I think that if I was on the pole, we would have moved. It's funny because as you get older, typically you increase your patience. You have more patience for things. You know, let's just wait and hang out here for a few minutes and see what happens. But I was ready to blow out, and actually Mason was like, oh, let's just keep casting around the corner here. And so the tables were turned there. He was the patient one.
He's a tiny one.
You got him?
I got him.
Wow.
I got him. We're gonna set the world record. Oh, he's not as small as I thought he was. First time he came up, I thought, man.
Yeah, he looked like he was 8 inches long the first time he ate.
Me and my friend used to try to catch the smallest tarpon. We had a competition to catch the smallest one. It's harder than the biggest one.
No, absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, the really
keep
little
them
ones are
stuck
hard to
on
find
there.
sometimes.
The standard rig that I've been using for a long time is a circle hook in that jerkbait. Many of the people that we fished with are quite surprised that we're using circle hook in that application, but boy, does it work well.
It really does. You had a little 30-pound shock tippet, and then that circle hook. And the good news is with that circle hook is when you do get tight on a fish, the odds of landing him are much higher than with that J hook. I think when I'm using the J hook, you know, so often I'll get a bite, it'll stick for a second, the fish jumps and he's gone, and then he doesn't bite again.
Right.
Whereas when you're working that jerkbait, you get a bite and it pulls out of his mouth.
Right.
He comes, eats again
Yes.
and again until
Yes.
you come tight.
Maybe small, but he's mighty. And fun.
He didn't like being called small, that's for sure.
Don't make fun of him.
Right in the button. Look at that.
Well, that perfect.
I'm getting better than that one right there.
Ain't done yet.
No, sir.
Man, you're just mopping up, blind casting down the shoreline, and boom.
I'm only one ahead of you.
I gotta catch up.
All right.
That's
a beautiful
awesome.
tarpon.
Yes, it is. Let's see if I can get that guy out. There we go.
How about that?
That's nice. Okay,
All right.
lost my bait. Where'd it go? We had it. There it is right there.
Some
Be
fish.
able to grab that.
Super pretty, super angry.
Pretty interesting that we haven't even seen one roll or anything. You're just catching them. Shows you about keeping your bait wet, right?
Yep,
Just like you were saying, can't catch them if your bait's not in the water.
that's right. They're under the trees, but they're definitely still hungry.
Yeah. Well, so often, you know, we get so spoiled with our sight fishing that we don't cast unless we see something. We got 3 good sets of eyes and nobody's seen a thing until they eat.
Honestly, they hadn't even really kind of eaten it. They hadn't blown up on it on top of the water. They kind of, both the bites I've gotten have been subsurface and not real visual.
You know, one of the things I enjoy the most about fishing with a young guy like Mason is, you know, he's got fresh eyes. He's checking spots that I fished 20 years ago, maybe his dad fished 20 years ago, that, you know, were good or weren't good or whatever, but it's all new. I mean, there's spots that weren't happening that are now good and vice versa. And it's really cool to go to some of these spots and just see how he's fishing it differently, seeing how the fish have moved around a little bit. He's on it, and he's looking at it with those fresh eyes.
Oh,
there is another one.
Oh, there's more in there, Rich.
Okay.
The one I saw shot into the trees, Rich. He might not come back out. Born and raised in Islamorada. I'm a flats fishing guide here at Worldwide Sportsman. I've been doing it for a year now. I worked offshore for a couple of years and came back to the skiff side of fishing. My dad's a flats guide as well, so I grew up on the bow of a flats boat. My dad's been doing it for 35 years, so if I have any questions, he usually has the answer. He's seen it before, but it's cool. I get to explore stuff and show him some things that I've found, and we can bounce ideas off of each other.
Dang, that was a good bite.
That was a good bite. Nice.
Dude, these guys are ready to eat.
On the job.
We started the morning early light, tarpon fishing, generally in the summertime and the fall. I'd expected to see a lot of fish out and rolling around. We never saw any tarpon roll. Tom and Rich just kept putting good casts right up against the trees. I think it was pulling the tarpon out. We started blind casting some jerk baits, one corner where there's usually some snooks, and we ended up catching a snook, and we kept blind casting those jerk baits because we weren't seeing any tarpon roll. And the tarpon, they seemed to like the jerk baits that morning, so they kept biting and biting, and we kept catching them. Try. They like to sit under the trees on this shoreline. Okay. So maybe if you could rip one straight down, I'm not sure if that'll work or not.
Fish are on the job, Mason. Not what you would normally do, but.
All right. Hook fell right out.
Perfect.
Kept him glued long enough.
Yeah, we don't need to keep him out of the water too long. Let him
You don't want
let
to
him
stay
go.
out of the water, that's for sure.
Very good.
Nice work.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Scan the QR code to get more information on this product and buy one for yourself.
Yeti has come up with some amazing products that have really made a difference in our fishing. It started out with the hard 65 Yeti cooler. We use this thing in so many different capacities, from a cooler that can hold ice longer than any cooler could before, that has a really strong lid that you can stand on. We use it on the front of the boat as a casting platform, as well as just a regular cooler. With the success of the hard coolers, Yeti then went and expanded their line into so many different things that we use every single day. One of my favorites is the Camino carry-all. I'll put my lunch, any safety gear, the things that I'm going to take to and from the boat, I'm going to do it in the Camino carry-all. And then my favorite product that I literally use every single day is the Yeti Rambler half-gallon jug. This one is fantastic. It'll keep your stuff hot. It'll keep your stuff cold, whatever you want. I know that when I drink this, I put a half gallon away. I'll bring 2 of these on the hottest times of the year, 1 of them in the wintertime, and if nothing else, it helps you to eliminate these plastic water bottles from your entire program. You don't even have to bring them on the boat anymore. Fill this up, and that is all you need. This does not end up in the ocean. You can check out the entire line of Yeti products on tackledirect.tv.
The Hawks K Saltwater Experience, presented by Yellowfin, is brought to you by Yellowfin. Live deeper. Hook. Unite all anglers. Tackle Direct, the world's premier fishing outfitter. Yeti, built for the wild. Islamorada in the Florida Keys. And by Golden Boat Lifts. Power Pole Move. Nikon. Lithium Pros, and Live Water Sports.
Did you know you can get every episode of Saltwater Experience completely free on Waypoint TV? Go to waypointtv.com and find out how you can download the app or find it on any smart TV. And if that's not enough, you can find the Tom Rowland podcast on Apple, Spotify, or anywhere you find podcasts, and we'd love to have you as a follower on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
Some schools of snook sitting under that tree in the middle between the 2 openings.
There he is.
Get him.
There he is.
Little tarpon.
Oh, yeah.
Right on, and hanging out in the shade.
Nice. Right where you called it. Oh, sweet.
Again, no roll.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. I grabbed a shrimp, but I was like, they're eating the jerkbait so good, and we're not seeing them, you know.
Right.
Like even there, I mean, you saw one roll, but you're like, all right, I think they're over there.
They could be still there.
Yeah.
This is one of those holes we were talking about. You know, they like to sit under that shadow there.
That shows your wisdom and experience to know exactly where they're sitting, even when you can't see them.
It's a perfect Islamorada day. You know, you don't have to run very far. I mean, a lot of the fishing in Islamorada is very close to the dock, and you know, we didn't have to run too far to get the perfect experience. You know, and I enjoyed so much of it. But I think that probably what I liked the most was just fishing with the next generation of guides and seeing that there are kids out there right now that are as excited as we ever were about it, and they're putting in the work and the time to explore and being a good steward. And that's what I think it's in pretty good hands with a lot of the young guides that we fished with, and certainly Mason, and that's pretty exciting for the fishery and for people that want to come down here and fish with these guys. There's a lot of good talent coming up.
I'll tell you what, Mason, you put us on the meat. That was good. What do you got in store for us now?
Let's get rid of these jerk baits. Let's put some shrimp on there and some lighter leaders. Let's go see if we can find a bonefish or two.
Okay, I like the sound of that.
Love it. Got great conditions for them,
We
right?
got good light, enough wind to keep them from being super spooky.
Man, these are great conditions. I mean, look at that sky.
That was fun, man. And educational, like that's where, you know, you always learn something when you fish with somebody new. And like your confidence of just sticking it out, and we just kept casting.
Right, but we knew they were there.
That does not happen. I mean, there'd be so many times where I would just look at that for a little bit and say,
Check the
go.
binoculars.
Smooth.
Right.
Yep. You assume they're not there.
Patience.
They are.